We're back at the Wingfoot Country Club, Golf Club rather, 45 minutes from Broadway on this Father's Day, and we're looking down now in the 4th round of the U.S. Open to Jim Thorpe, who has refused to crack. Oh. Birdie opportunity just slipping away to the right. But he'll remain a 1 under par. 5 shots behind Fuzzy Zeller, who has made the first real serious bid to take charge of this tournament. Now, this is on videotape a few minutes ago. Greg Norman for birdie at that 6th hole, and coming off a birdie at 5. Tap in for par. Norman to keep him in 2nd place at 3 under. Here's Fuzzy. Shot to the 6th hole. Look at this. Ooh. Ball coming back a little. This green's always been hard, though, David, hadn't because of the shade.
That has helped, and I think the superintendent may get out there and buff it a little bit, too.
But this is, there's the shot. You see it all there, over that yawning trap into a ribbon-like green.
It's just not very deep. A lot like 12 at Augusta as far as the depth of this second shot for any of those that have played at Augusta and not played at Wingfoot.
Well, Rossi, that was a pretty classy shot.
Well, it's one he had to make, Jack.
Here's Tom Watson at the 18th green, finishing up.
It's 1 under for the day, Jack.
Finally getting a hold of his game. He had a very rocky 2nd and 3rd round. 1 under for the day in the final round of the U.S. Open, finishing +8. Playing with Peter Jacobsen.
I gave you some misinformation there. Peter shot 67 today.
Oh. So here's the situation as Fuzzy Zeller taking command now in this final round, 3 shots ahead of Greg Norman. Let's go to Jim McKay.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. Update time, and a little bit of a different update to begin with. Here is Frank Hannigan, the Senior Executive Director of the United States Golf Association. We know what we think about this championship. The people at home have their opinion. What is your view representing the USGA of what's happened here so far?
If you're referring to the golf course, we're delighted.
Golf course and the championship.
Well, the championship is fine. The final is exciting, but we're particularly pleased with the way the golf course has turned out. In other words, sadism may have had its day. We like it a lot.
In other words, there was a conscious decision to make it not a little easier, but set up a little bit more like it would be for a normal day's play than in recent years.
It's not like normal day's play. The rough is still
a little bit more
very, very severe, but it's the equivalent to might be a half-stroke penalty. A good player will drive in the primary rough. He'll be able to advance the ball. He won't be able to spin it very well and hold it on the green, but for the most part, he doesn't have to pitch out laterally. That's what we want to avoid.
And yet, by the time this is over, it still may be that only 1 or 2 or 3 will be under par for the championship.
Oh, sure, but we're not as hung up on numbers as sometimes as it's said. This is the golf course is pure. Another reason the golf course is so good, I think the scores are lower, is that the fairways are prepared so immaculately. Remember, this is a relatively new way of cutting greens, less than ½ an inch. It's really quite something. So you never get a bad lie in the fairways.
Okay, thank you very much. Frank Hannigan of the USGA. Perhaps you've just joined us in this long afternoon. Let's take a look backwards to see what has happened so far in the way of significant lead changes. Of course, the story has basically been between Hale Irwin, who led by a shot when the day began, and Fuzzy Zeller. Now, this was Irwin's 3rd shot on the 1st hole. He got into trouble with his very first tee shot, snap hooking it in the left rough. This is his 3rd shot on line, almost hit the flagstick, but left him with that long one for a par. Irwin a little bit discouraged looking as he walked up to the 1st green. But he's always been, as we said at the start, an unflappable player, particularly under U.S. Open situations. However, this was a little bit much to ask. And as you'll see, he didn't make it. He did make the next, but that was a bogey 5 that dropped him down to a tie for the lead with Fuzzy Zeller, the two of them playing hand-to-hand, man-to-man for the 2nd day. Now here was Irwin in a bunker on the 3rd hole. Or 2nd shot, I should say, on the par 3 hole. And a decent bunker shot, but once again, leaving him with a long putt for a par. He also was unable to make that, so he had dropped yet another stroke. Here, meanwhile, was Zeller on the same hole, putting for a birdie. Seizing the advantage. Bad luck of Irwin, knocking it in straight down the middle, by the way, if you notice, for a birdie. So Fuzzy Zeller, that quickly was the leader in the U.S. Open Championship. On the next hole, the par 4 fourth hole. Zeller again. Again, a putt of a decent length, about the same length, I would guess. And again, not in the score, not the tradesman's interest, as Henry Long used to say, but right in the middle for his second consecutive birdie. Zeller on the move to the fifth hole, the very next hole, looking for a third successive birdie. Again, the distance, very similar to the others. And this time, perhaps a touch in the left middle of the hole. Fuzzy Zeller, just as hot as he could be. Now, we were watching them. And here, while at the very moment we were watching those videotape highlights, was the fourth birdie in a row. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Fuzzy Zeller, perhaps with one of the great rounds of U.S. Open history, but a long way to go. Now, Irwin with a birdie attempt. And down it went. The unshakable man has not shaken yet. Now, all of those were on recent tape. Now, let's, our point of view, our perspective. Now, here's Greg Norman putting for a birdie. This is live coverage on the par 3 7th hole. We showed you all these taped birdies, and now that one is live. This thing is getting pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. I can't remember how many times I've seen that many birdies in a row that we hadn't edited it ahead of time. So here's what it means right now. Zeller leading by 3 over Norman, by 4 over Irwin, by 6 over Jim Thorpe, and then you see Miller Strange and Tim Simpson. But it isn't over. 3 strokes is 2 in one direction and 1 in the other. Jack?
All right, Wingfoot yielding some birdies here, and I guess George Burns has the record down in Marion for consecutive birdies at 6. So
That's exactly what I was wondering. What is the record length there? No, George did it at Marion, huh?
yeah, here we have Jim Thorpe at 2 under, 5 shots behind Fuzzy. Whoa! Another nice attempt. Second one in a row where he misses the birdie but gets the par, and he'll remain at 1 under. And that's the situation. Fuzzy Zeller with 4 straight birdies at 3, 4, 5, and 6 with a 3-shot lead over Greg Norman. This is the 7th tee. Par 3, 161 yards, standing outside the ball marker. And safely on the left side, just about pin high.
Jack, for those who want to know, it's legal to stand outside of the marker as long as the ball is between or behind the marker. Fuzzy does that, gets way over on that left side because he plays a right-to-left kind of shot. He can swing his hook in there.
All right, this is Hale. Rossi, do you think Hale's, that birdie's got him back concentrating?
Well, it's going to have. I'll tell you, he just cannot afford to lose any more shots, and he's got to start making some birdies of his own, because I think Fuzzy's playing as relaxed and as good as anybody I've ever seen in the last round of the Open.
But Rossi, what does that do now? It looked like he was going to be in a real fight all day, and all of a sudden he spurted out to a 3-shot lead. What do you feel he has to do to win now?
Well, he just has to keep up that tempo. I'll tell you, he likes to play fast. He was ready to play as soon as they got off the green. One thing that would really hurt him would be a slow down and play, because Fuzzy likes to keep going. About the same place here. Good shot.
Seventh green. It's par 3 of 161 yards at Wingfoot. The final group, Fuzzy Zeller and Hale Irwin, both on safely. as Fuzzy Zoeller has unleashed a birdie barrage. 4 in a row. And at the moment is dominating the championship as much as anyone has. There are the rest of them. Tom Watson finished.
He did shoot 69, as I said.
There we look down from the Goodyear blimp. You know, it reminds me of David. It's so perfect. It looks like the placemats in the grill room.
Well, that's what it's supposed to look like.
All right, Fuzzy Zoeller and Hale Irwin walking up to the 7th. We asked Fuzzy Zoeller why he is so relaxed with the crowd.
Well, I'll be very honest with you, Rossi. It's Fuzzy Zoeller, but there again, I am trying to relieve a lot of tension. And there again, I always remember those people outside that gallery are making my living. So I want to make them feel as welcome as possible. And maybe next year when we come back into the New York area, they might bring 2 or 3 more friends and, you know, have a great time.
Fuzzy Zoeller selling the game of golf. Leading the United States Open Championship in the final round at the moment by 3 shots. Oh, how about that? He's birdied this the first 3 days. Well, tomorrow night it's ABC's Monday Night Baseball. We'll have the Detroit Tigers with the best record in baseball hosting the New York Yankees in a battle of American League East rivals. Or Texas Rangers at California Angels. First place Angels trying to regain their form that made them the American League West champion in 1982. Tomorrow night on ABC's Monday Night Baseball. As Fuzzy Zoeller and Hale Irwin look over their putts here at the 7th hole. Another raised green with deep traps, but they've avoided them. And Fuzzy, as we just noted, has birdied this the first 3 rounds. Is it too much to ask that he would birdie it the 4th day?
I think he'd take a little 3 and just tap dance on the 18.
Yes. Waltz on.
Left to right break. Got it on line, Jack. Just left it. Oh, those are the kind you don't want to leave yourself right now.
Jim Thorpe, the 8th fairway, 2nd shot on the par 4, 442-yard hole. And nicely on his iron play has been remarkable. John Schroeder.
Jack, he has finally calmed down after the first few holes, and he's really starting to swing relaxed. Matter of fact, he told me walking up the 5th fairway, the bogey on 1 really kind of made him get his act together, and he told me he's going to shoot a 66 today, and he went ahead and birdied 5 and has knocked it stiff the last 3 holes. So he's not backing off by any means, nor is this man right here, Greg Norman.
How far has he got?
Well, I don't know how far he's got. About 175 yards, but he knocked it 40 yards by Jim. He is a little pumped up. Probably about a 4-iron. This hole's playing directly into the wind right now. He's pushed that a little to the right, Jack. He played a cut. It's going to catch the right side of the green, and that's a good indication of how pumped up he is. He knocked it by the flag. And not exactly what he wanted, but he's still putting for birdie.
You see the ridge that runs across that green, and that'll be a very big factor in his putt.
You better know it.
This is Hale Irwin for par at the 7th. And Hale, the 3rd round leader, remains 4 shots behind Fuzzy Zoeller. Wow, what a change in the first 7 holes.
So important at Wingfoot to get off to a start. And, of course, Fuzzy start is one you'd only dream about.
We're at the 10th tee with Jack Nicklaus, this marvelous par 3 of 190 yards.
Pin is far back right. Just a beautiful pin position to go across that bunker if you're trying to shoot at the flag.
Which I think Jack might be doing because he's 4 over.
From now on, he has to shoot at the flag.
Oh, Oh, my. Just a little bit to the left, and he would have been sitting for a birdie, and now he's in the bunker. Fuzzy for par at 7. He's in. And he remains with a 3-shot lead at 7 under, ahead of Craig Norman. So here is Mr. Norman, who has won his first United States tournament, a congressional, as Dave pointed out the other day, also a United States Open course, so his confidence has to be a lot better than it was, his first American victory. And we asked Greg how he feels about confidence and those kind of things.
I think so. I think ever since I decided to give away the international travel, there was a lot of hardship on myself and my family. You know, traveling backwards and forwards and living in a jet's not a lot of fun. And you know, when I came here in '82, it was a good move because I settled down. I enjoyed playing here in America and enjoy the golf course and the people and the players. So I feel like I'm at home every week now, and you know, obviously it's starting to show up in my game.
Well, good on you, mate. It's certainly showing up on your game here. A marvelous open for Craig Norman. We're Fuzzy Zoeller at the 8th tee. Dogleg right. Look at him bend it right around. Maybe perfect.
Not maybe, perfect.
You got to be a little more positive there, Rossi. This is something that Fuzzy does when he puts that heel there. As I said yesterday, it's like the late, great Jimmy DeMeritt, who addressed the ball the same way. Hands very low, as opposed to Hale, whose hands are high, and the ball in the center of the club face.
Hale looks like he's hit the perfect fade.
They both get the job.
No, too much, huh?
They both
it's a
usually get the job done.
Very bad drive here. Very, very short, hit the trees, and came down in the high rough.
The ball has disappeared, Rossi. It's and right by the tree. You'll give us a report on that, I'm sure.
Well, he's on the correct side of the tree, which is the right. At least he'll have a swing at it, but I don't think he can reach the green from where he is. He's going to have to hit a wood to get there, and if he has the kind of a lie where the ball squirts, he might be able to get there, but I doubt it.
Craig Norman up at the green at 8, and he has this ridge to go down. Over, up and down. Now it's down. Oh. It's a little shy.
Just not as fast as he thought it was on the downhill side of that.
All right, David, let's take a look in slow motion here.
Well, I love Fuzzy Swing because it looks so free then with a great release as he addresses it outside. Do not advise this for the person at home here. Feet nice and wide, hands a little low, maybe a little more bent over than your pro says, but watch this as he goes through the ball. Good full wrist cock there, club back to parallel. Watch this move and release just as free as if he was out for a Sunday afternoon stroll. And look at that finish for a man with a bad back, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other hand, this is more classical, more typical, what you're probably taught to do. And Hale has good posture, good position at the top. Let's see where he gets. Yes, there. And then his left hip turns out of the way too fast there, Jack. Caused it out over the ball a little, caused it to maybe hit the heel somewhat. Too much cut, hit the tree, drop down in the rough. Big putt for Thorpe here for birdie.
Yeah, I missed that one too, but he has been so brilliant with his irons that
with a little bit of luck, he could be 2 or 3 more under par here. He's gotten the ball very close. Can hit reasonably good putts, just has not had the correct line.
remains at 1 under through 8 holes in the final round. Now Norman for par, and that's how he stands. Second place by himself at the moment.
Now he has had the benefit of seeing Jim's ball slide to the right. So he's got to feel, if just got to keep this ball in the hole. If he starts it at the right edge, he's gone. Keep it inside the hole. Good solid pop when you hit it. Doesn't have time to break. Just like you said. Norman remains 4 under. Heading for the 9th hole. And a very eventful Sunday afternoon. Now, here is the 8th hole and the problem Hale Irwin has. That's where his drive went. Can he get a wood on it? Well, no. Here, that's an iron. Iron out of there.
Just laid it up. Played way short. He's perhaps 70 yards, 60 yards short of the green.
He looks a little disinterested, Rossi, at this point. Just kind of mad at himself, I guess.
You look at those 4 birdies, I don't think he's mad at Fuzzy, but I tell you, Fuzzy's delivered a knockout to him.
Hitman.
Fuzzy with a tremendous drive here, perhaps a 5-iron into this green, into the wind. Shooting at the fat part of the green, but losing it a little right. Oh, he got lucky. Got a little lucky there.
So on the fringe, no problem, and Fuzzy Zoeller in command now. It's 7 under with a 3-shot lead over Norman, and we'll be back to Winged Foot in a moment.